What's up? What's up?
Hey, honey, how you doing?
I'm good. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Remedy Room,
Hey,
episode number 9.
999, that crazy number 9. Any number you can find is always number 9.
Never heard it. What is that from?
Sesame Street growing up.
I missed that episode.
Oh man, we gotta find it. Might have to edit it in the show.
We might, yes. Well, I am your co host, the First Lady, and today it's just me and my boo, Mr. Wright. We
Hey,
are missing our other two co hosts. Mr. Perspective is on vacation.
hey, Kay.
As a teacher, he is all done with his school year in Vegas, so he is on a much deserved vacation.
Yes, yes, yes.
And our other co host, Miss Unapologetic, my
She's not
very best
apologizing.
friend, is handling business. Her business, Crafting with Meek, is booming, and she has some things to do with that and preparing to purchase a new home in a new area, whole new state.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so we are holding it down for the Remedy Room on this episode.
yes.
So we're going to pretend like we're not in the same house.
That's hard to do.
It's hard to do. We might have some interruptions from the kids, but that's okay. Tis life. Tis
Tis
life.
life, tis life.
You're looking kind of, sharp.
We conducting business, so I thought I would, dress the part.
Oh,
Um, I got a tie on tonight, though. I felt a little tie-ish tonight.
okay. So for all of our listeners, if you're not watching on YouTube, Mr. Wright is wearing a slim cut, light gray blazer with a yellow dress shirt, and his tie has a little bit of gray, yellow, blue, white. He looking kind of sexy.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take
Mm-hmm.
that.
So, if you are new to the Remedy Room, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us by searching the Remedy Room podcast. And we are also on all major podcast platforms. You can also search us using the Remedy Room podcast, and you'll find our podcast channels. We're also on Facebook and Instagram at the Remedy Room podcast. So follow us, like what you see,
Share,
subscribe,
comment,
share, all of
everything.
that.
Tell
Yes,
us the good, the bad, the ugly. Yeah, I'm
absolutely.
not gonna let you slide that quick.
What?
You told everybody what I was wearing, but I have to let everybody know, how you're looking because you look radiant, you look wonderful, you look
Thank you.
gorgeous, beautiful. With the hairdo, got the slick silk wrap,
What you know about a
uh,
silk wrap?
and the wonderful. And now, is that a dress or a blouse? The black with the silver sequins, or is that
Oh,
white?
this old thing. No, it is a dress. It's a black dress with some silver.
Oh wow,
Um,
I got it right. I said
you got it
silver.
right.
Okay,
You
cool.
did. Silver lines to it. It's a little foofy. It has these little I think they're called trumpet
Okay,
sleeves.
you got the
It's
trumpet.
kind of old, but I mean it's cute.
Okay, okay,
Mm-hmm. Thank
okay.
you.
Yeah, no problem.
So what's been going on? What's new?
Nothing's new, but well, there are a couple things new. I ran out of deodorant, and
Mm.
so the other day I woke
Wait a
up
minute. What did you call it? What is it called?
deodorant.
Okay, the
Um,
odorant.
deodorant.
Sounds like you from Minnesota.
Hey, I might be. Don't you know?
Don't you, Bobby? Don't you know?
No, I ran out of deodorant, and so when I was I had a work function the other day, and I realized I didn't have any. And so my son, well, our son, Baylor, who's 7 now, he has deodorant now because his underarms They were getting a little too
A little
rancid.
rank. So can I tell the story?
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but so this all just happened very recently, within
Yeah,
what, the last
yeah,
week. And the kids had climbed into the bed, and I got a little whiff of something. And I know they, play outside, so they were smelling a little outdoorsy. We all know what that smell is.
right.
And so I kind of didn't say anything at first, but I was like, that's a different smell. So I had to run it back. I was like, Bella, come here, let me smell under your arms. And it was kind of musty. It was kind
Yeah,
of musty.
yeah, yeah. He
Yeah.
definitely outdoorsy. Uh, so
Yeah.
so you went out and got him some deodorant. Um,
Yeah, my
the,
baby.
I used it. It was the roll. I used it, but it didn't hold me.
I know
Uh,
it didn't
it
hold
didn't
you.
hold me because I think it was water. I don't know what it was. But let me tell you, today when I was in the shower, you know how I used to grow up and I used to see this sign in the shower. My mom had this sign. It showed how to do a breast exam
Oh, uh-huh.
for lumps. So I was in the shower and my underarm it was hurting. I was like, is something going on? Do I have I was checking for lumps and everything,
Yeah.
but I remembered that I used his deodorant. And whenever I change out or try something new, it always affects my underarm. So
Oh,
can't use that
wow.
anymore. I'm back to the Old Spice, so I'm good now. But I was checking. I was nervous, and I was like, "What is going on with me?" But I figured it out.
Yes. So a couple of things. Monthly breast exams are important for
Yeah.
women.
Yes.
So ladies, make sure you're doing that once a month. You can make
Yes.
it fun, have somebody else check it for you, but let's make sure there are
Circle
no,
motion.
yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Circular
I used to
motion.
see that sign all the time.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so make sure you're doing your breast self exams. Of course, men are not um exempt from breast cancer.
Right.
So I mean, breast exams are not necessarily needed for men, because I'm sure it would be very easy for you to identify a lump or something different. But, keep an eye out. We should be in tune with our bodies enough to realize when something is off.
Right.
Um, so yeah, so I'm not gonna go on that tangent, but what else? So yeah, so we got Baylor some aluminum free, very light deodorant, nothing heavy. I think it's called Crystal. And it's a roll on, very light. I mean, I
You
don't
know,
even
you know
think
how that is strong enough for a man, but made for a woman. You know that slogan. Well, that is
Crystal is
not
not
strong
that.
enough to hold any male. Don't use
So
it.
yeah, so okay. So you can't use a different deodorant. And sometimes for me, I get irritated. It hasn't happened in a very long time, but I used to get to a point where if I use the same deodorant too much, then I would start to feel irritated under my arms, and I would have to switch like to a whole different brand. But that hasn't happened in a while. So yeah, that's funny.
Hey, Kia, I did have something before we get into our discussion for tonight. Um, a question for you: would
Hmm.
you rather be um, rich and depressed, or poor and happy?
Poor and happy all day. That's
Poor and
not even
happy
a
all day.
question.
No
Not
question
even
about
a question. Mm-mm.
it. Ooh, that's a tough one.
What about you?
See, because if I'm rich, I can I can be depressed by the pool. I can be depressed on my vacation. I can be depressed in a lot of different places.
Hold on,
Uh,
honey. I got some visitors down here. You keep
oh
talking. Hold
Lord,
on.
you know what? All right, so I can be depressed in a lot of different ways. If I'm rich, if I'm poor, um, that could bring about depression, right? Because you're depressed about that you're poor. But there is a scripture. It says, "The poor you will have with you always." So I guess in looking at that, to be happy and have a peace of mind, um, even though that you don't have the financial backing, that's fine, because you can be poor in money but rich in a lot of other ways. So I understand that aspect, but whew, to be rich and depressed, I think that's just another uh, level. But they say the more money, the more problems you have. So,
That's what they say. More money, more problems.
well, if you got the money to handle the problems, then I
Nah,
don't know.
I will take my happiness any day. Little bit of money or a full bank account. I'd rather be happy. Mm-hmm.
All right, what are we talking about today,
So,
Christian?
so we have Monique in the hot seat this week, and I'm not gonna say the hot seat because I mean I'm sure we've all kind of shared her thoughts at some point or another. But for people who are not familiar with it, first of all, Monique is a comedian. She was well known for her stand-up comedy. She was a plus size comedian, and she, always said that she was very content with her size, and she kind of catered to the big girl population. She's recently kind of gone on a health journey, lost some weight. She's probably well known in her role on the movie Precious. She played the mother on there, and woo, she did a great job. She
Yeah, that if
embodied
that was
that role.
if that it seemed a little too real. It seemed like she didn't something has happened, or she experienced some of
No,
that
I
in her
think
life.
she's just a good actress. I mean, she was very convincing,
Very
very
convincing.
convincing.
Very
Yeah.
convincing.
But I mean, a lot of people live in that kind of household and have those types of parents. So, I mean,
Correct.
it wasn't unrealistic. But anyway, so Monique was on Instagram and put out a little statement about Black women wearing bonnets in public. And she got a lot of mixed reviews. A lot of people agreed with her. A lot of people basically said, mind your business. So I wanted to talk about it. What do you think?
Are you talking about Professor Ogilvy, Monique?
Yeah. Oh, how could I forget the Parkers? Well,
And the
I ain't really
Parks?
like the show, so that's
Oh
how
yeah.
I ain't even think
Well,
about it.
I didn't have cable, so UPN was all I could watch. So it came on 27 channel 27.
Yes,
So,
the Parkers. Yeah.
um, uh, but Kia, you said she talked about bonnets, but I as I watched the her clip, she talked more. She talked about more than just bonnets. She said that she was in the airport, and not only did she see a lot of the younger sisters, and she got sisters,
Queens, as she
queens,
referred to us.
with bonnets on, but pajamas,
Mm-hmm.
slippers. She came with that, and she gave that whole presentation of someone that walked out in public like they just got out of the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess we can touch on bonnets, but I guess we have to touch on everything too.
Yeah.
So, but bonnets, what is a bonnet for? Tell me. I'm a male. What? Tell me what a bonnet is. I did some research myself
Uh-huh.
on what a bonnet was and everything like that, but from the female perspective, from a Black female perspective in her mid 30s, what is a bonnet to you?
Well, you know what a bonnet is, because first of all, I'm gonna put my bonnet on.
Well, see, we're gonna talk about that later, but but for the viewing audience, what is a somebody might be
So
searching for a remedy here.
they might be. So, okay, as a Black woman, as Black women, our hair is important to us. Whether we wear our own hair, whether it's natural, relaxed, whether we have locks, braids, whatever, we want to protect our hair, especially when we go to sleep. So typically, you will find most Black women are going to wear some type of protective headwear at night. It could be a bonnet, which is like a satin cap. I don't even know if cap is the right way to describe it, but I'm sure everybody knows what a bonnet is. And if you don't, you can go to Google. But it is something that protects our hair from the pillowcases. We don't want our hair to get dry. If your hair gets dry, it's going to break off. Your hair starts breaking off. Of course, you're going to lose the length, so on and so forth. So,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
So what I've just heard you describe is something that you wear to bed to protect your hair during sleep.
Now,
Uh,
let me also add.
REM sleep, comatose, all these kind of sleeps. This is what a bonnet is for. If I'm going off of what you
Okay,
just
and I'm
laid
going
out.
to also
Okay.
add. Okay, so most of the time, if I'm in the house, I'm gonna have on a bonnet, a scarf, or something. Generally speaking, um, so it may not just be for going to bed. If I'm, in chill mode and I'm at home, then I may have my hair protected. I want to maintain my style, so I'm gonna put a bonnet on or a scarf.
Okay. All right. So pretty much you're saying home use, home improvement tools you keep at the house. This is what it sounds like you're saying that this is what a bonnet is for. Because I did look up, I had to go to Google because in my mind I was like, man, what is a bonnet for? And
Mm-hmm.
obviously I saw, what you said, especially in the African American culture, for hair protection. But the bonnet, in a sense, had a tie around, and it was for high class Europeans or wherever they
Mm.
wore bonnets. And then obviously a lot of religious sects, Amish, those they wear the little white, which are bonnets.
Mm-hmm.
But it's everybody knows it's a religious sect, and they're doing it for head covering, utilizing what the scripture says.
Okay.
Obviously, the Muslims, they have head covering too, and then also babies. When babies are born, we put them in bonnets, right? To protect their head from the sun and all that. So
And to
that's the bonnet,
maintain their temperature.
right?
Yes.
As so bonnets have been around for centuries,
In
but
some
it's
shape or form,
in some
yes.
shape or form. But there are different types of bonnets, but for the African American culture,
Say black, Arthur, black.
okay, for the black culture,
Capital B.
okay, I gotta find out what. Okay, all right, well, okay, all right. So for the black culture, a bonnet is mainly for hair protection.
Yes.
All right. So if it's mainly for hair protection, typically you don't want anybody, if you go somewhere to present yourself, as far as in society or in the public, are you saying that you want everybody to see you in your bonnet?
That is a loaded question. So if I will admit I have worn some type of bonnet or scarf
Where, where, when I'm not around?
in public.
Where was I at?
I don't know, Arthur. I don't know where you were.
Oh,
Now,
we're gonna talk
typically,
about this off there.
well, that's fine.
Okay.
Typically, if I do wear a bonnet outside the house, yeah, I'm going somewhere where I'm not getting out of the car. So if I'm going to a drive-through, or um, if I were to pick Baylor up from the bus stop and was staying in the car, something like that, I might wear a bonnet. If we're going on a car, on a trip somewhere and we'll be in a car, I might keep my bonnet on because I want to protect my hair until we get to wherever we're going. So, having said that, I do think this is just my opinion. Sometimes a bonnet is okay to wear outside the house. Now, for me, I'm probably not going to wear a bonnet at the airport or at the grocery store. or, somewhere that I might run into someone who may see me with a bonnet, um, and form some type of opinion about me. But that's
Okay.
just me.
Okay. Preparation meets opportunity, and it's it would be very hard for me to take someone seriously who has a bonnet on their head. As they're talking to me in public. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
at your house and you're doing this, it's your house. You can wear what you want to in your house.
Okay.
But if you're out in public and you're going to the store, having a bonnet on kind of seems a little, what are you really saying about yourself?
Okay.
Is this the best presentation or the best representation of yourself? Now, I understand that this is a free country. You
Mm-hmm.
can do whatever you want, but also in doing that, you also have to face the scrutiny or face, I don't want to say consequence because there's no consequence to wearing a bonnet per se out in public. But can you do that and go to a job interview? Can you do that and go to a function? Can you wear a bonnet? Would that be appropriate to wear out somewhere where there's going to be a lot of people? And if you can do it at the airport, why can't you do it for a job interview?
Well, I mean, I think that could be the case with anything. I mean, we know what things are appropriate in what setting. So that's not even a question in my opinion.
Okay.
So, but on the other hand, I'm also like I've seen a story, whether it be true or fiction, um, and I might be adding something to it or taking something away. So forgive me if I do, but it was something along the lines of, two cars driving and one car had road rage and cut the car off or something like that. And the two cars ended up at the same place, and the guy was going for a job interview, and the car that he cut off was the person interviewing him. So the bonnet is kind of like the same thing. You may not even know that you've crossed paths with somebody, but then, at some point in time, you might see them again and they remember you as, the girl that was at Target. Well, people don't go to Target and wear bonnets. So let me say Walmart.
Ooh, here. See now. All right. So you said people don't go into Target. Why did you make an emphasis on people don't go to Target and wear bonnets as opposed to going to Walmart? Because we're about to get back into this Monique. What why she said it.
Mm-hmm. Again, I just think there are different environments where people act a certain way or look a certain way, and you're not typically going to see a bonnet in Target. You would see a bonnet or two or more in Walmart before you see one in Target. Now, I don't know why that is. It's just, I mean, I guess the type of person that would shop at Target versus the type of person that would shop at Walmart.
So
No shade.
what's the type of person that's would wear a bonnet in public then? That's the legitimate argument then.
Well, I mean, I think we have to just figure out why are people wearing their bonnets? Do they want to maintain their hair? Like for example, today, I just got my hair done
Right.
and
Looks great.
thank you. And it's been raining the past 4 days or so. Now, a bonnet isn't necessarily going to keep my hair from getting wet, but Dennis, my stylist, did give me a shower cap to wear so that my hair wouldn't get wet from the rain. So when I went into the store, I put the shower cap on my hair, and I also had an umbrella. But of course, by the time I got to, the door to enter the store, and I just so happened to be going to Target, I took the shower cap off. But the purpose of wearing it was so that my hair wouldn't get poofy and get messed up and all of that stuff. So some people might wear a bonnet because their hair is half done, or it's just a bad hair day, or they're trying to maintain a style for something in particular.
See, so I think, all right, I think we are, what you just described is acceptable. If you just got your hair done and it's
Mm-hmm.
raining,
Mm-hmm.
of course, you don't want to get your hair wet. So you're going to wear a head protective covering to cover your head, whether it be a trash bag, whether it be whatever you can
I have done
find,
that before. Yes.
whatever you can find to protect your hair from getting it. We're talking about the cultural acceptance of somebody walking in public with a bonnet on, and they don't want anybody to say anything to them. They feel like
Rightfully
this,
so.
right, right. They feel like this is appropriate, that to wear the bonnet in public is appropriate. But
Okay.
we got to go back, you know, in the day, and we're in our mid-30s. But you know, moms and women, even when they were cooking dinner, they put an apron on, but had
Mm-hmm.
their dress on underneath.
Yeah.
They didn't walk around the house, you know, with pajamas on all day. And you know, if they what was the little
House
button up
coat.
coat with the snaps,
House coat.
they would use the house coat as the covering, but they would be dressed underneath. They would
Yeah.
have something on underneath when they cook dinner, like
Mm-hmm.
having your hair done. Like you weren't just walking. Now, of course, Saturday morning and stuff like that, you've done everything. You just chilling in the house. Yes, you probably got the rollers in your head. You're at home, but when they walked out of that house for anything, they presented themselves, you know, with their best.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe what Monique was saying was so true. And a lot of people might disagree with me, but I'm actually siding with Monique as far as the presentation that is being presented to us. It's kind of like forcing us to accept something that, I mean, really can't be. Is no argument for that. If you're saying that you're protecting, so you protecting your hair 24/7.
Right. 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 Yeah.
Now, the
Well,
only
first of
arguments that I
all,
can accept is obviously religious beliefs. So if you
well, that's
believe,
not no, because now you getting away from bonnets. Religious stuff, someone covering their head for a religious purpose is not going to wear a bonnet. It's going to be a completely different type of
scarf,
head
head
covering.
wrap, okay, gotcha, I understand.
Yeah, and I think, I have seen people having that discussion as well. That, if a female, if a woman, a black woman, is having a bad hair day, there are other options other than a bonnet. There,
So does any other culture need to protect their hair? Why?
no,
So what? Why is this the argument that you're protecting your hair?
I
What other?
just told you.
Because women. All right. So if we speak as just women, all
No,
right.
you can't lump all women together. Our hair is
Oh,
not created equally.
oh,
Black women have to keep moisture in their hair. We cannot have dry hair. So certain types of fabrics are going to strip our hair of the oil and the moisture that it needs to stay healthy.
okay.
So, for example, for the women who were at the airport wearing the bonnet, they might have been wearing it because they had a long flight and they didn't want the seat on the flight to, potentially damage their hair. Now, let me ask you this. So, you mentioned that Monique also talked about bonnets, pajamas, and the fuzzy slippers, right?
Yeah.
So, are you saying that a bonnet is acceptable if you have on makeup and, are dressed?
Yeah. Yeah. I obviously, if I'm saying that a bonnet in public is kind of risque. I'm
Okay.
saying that,
Mm-hmm.
and in any, if you're dressed, because obviously you would be dressed, looking, you know, great, makeup did, and you would have a bonnet on. I mean, it just doesn't go together.
Mm.
So, but I could understand if you were in and out of something where you didn't want to get your hair messed up, you were in between shows, you were in between
Mm-hmm.
something, you had to go do something else, and you didn't want to get your hair messed up because of maybe the humidity. Because I've seen what the humidity has done to your hair. So that's why I always suggest that you just have a comb in your purse.
You
Because
have
I've had
tried
to
to
give you a
play me.
comb out of my pocket a couple
Yeah,
of times.
you have tried to
So
play me a
so I
couple of
understand.
times.
But it seems
Hmm.
like that y'all we are kind of putting the bonnet. Okay, black women have a legitimate reason to wear a bonnet, but no other culture does this because their hair doesn't get messed up.
They don't need a bonnet, is my point. White women do not need a bonnet. White women go,
Asian women, Filipino women, Latino
no,
women.
their hair is not the same as Black women's hair. They can go to bed, they can go to bed and not have to worry about what their hair is going to look
Wait,
like in the
I know
morning.
you keep on saying go to bed. Yes, I understand. Go to bed with your bonnet.
Yeah, okay. I mean, white women, non-black women have their own issues with their hair that I'm unfamiliar with.
Okay.
But women in general have things that are going to affect how their hair looks. For black women, it's a number of things.
Well, Kia, to make my argument even stronger, I
Hmm.
believe the same for black men as far as do not walk out the house with a do rag or a stocking cap on. It's
Now,
un,
that's
it's
interesting.
unacceptable.
That is interesting
It's
because
unacceptable.
I think men wear a do rag as a part of an outfit, and generally it is accepted. You don't hear a lot of people telling men to take their do rags off when they leave home. Now, you wouldn't see a man in a suit, dressed to the nines with a do rag, but you do see it.
Yeah, it's yeah. At
Mm.
home, I mean, if you're in the car and you want to
Hmm.
have it on in your car, but when you step out and you start walking the beat, walking the street, you gotta take it off. It's unacceptable. Well,
Okay.
we've tried to make it acceptable. I believe when I was growing up and I was on the campus of Hampton University, they had that rule. You couldn't wear do rags on the
Hmm.
campus.
You couldn't wear
Walking around.
pajamas to class.
Yeah, you couldn't do this. So it's kind
Yeah.
of like we have tried to make this about fashion. There's nothing fashionable about walking around with a do rag or a bonnet on your head,
Or
um,
pajamas
or
or fuzzy
pajamas or
slippers.
slippers.
Yeah.
It's not because the thing is, if it was acceptable, then everybody would be doing it, and
Yeah.
other cultures don't do this. And
Well,
and
I don't like that, you know, um, comparison. Like our culture has to be like someone else's because we don't. We are in a league of our own. So while I agree with you, it doesn't really matter what other cultures are doing.
okay. All
So
right, so pretty much everybody that is kind of taken aback by, seeing people walking around with a blanket around them in public.
if you're in the airport and you have your blanket around you, now come on.
No, who else? Okay, kid, be honest here though. What?
Again, you're comparing, and I'm not gonna do that.
But
I'm
but
not
but
gonna do
but
that.
that's what I'm saying. What
If
other
you
culture
have,
do you
if
see walking around the airport with a blanket on?
it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna keep comparing the black culture to other cultures. They want to be like us anyway.
No,
So
they don't. They not. If they not wearing bonnets and they not wearing blankets out in public.
you don't know that. And furthermore, if you're in the airport and it's a red eye or early morning, and you know that when you get on the flight and you have to be on there for 4 or 5 hours, you're gonna go to sleep. I can understand being comfortable. But I agree with all in all. I agree with what Monique was saying. I don't, however, agree with her saying that she's going to go and tap people when they are looking that way. It is really not any of her business what people are doing. Now, for her to put the statement out, that's fine. She mentioned that there's some women in her life that tapped her. I think that's all well and good if you have that relationship, but you just can't go up to a stranger and tap, tap, tap and tell them that what they're doing is inappropriate. I don't, and even if you say it with love, I think that's out of order. That's just
So
my
so
opinion.
so this would go. This would go for, and I guess in the black community, someone sagging a guy sagging their pants too. You're saying that older guys with wisdom, the elders should not concern themselves with the styles that the younger generation does. If they see somebody sagging their pants, we shouldn't say, "Hey, you should pull your pants up."
No, not if you're a stranger. No.
Why is that? It seemed to be that used to be the way it was. We kind of got away from that because we're kind of like, can't nobody tell us anything.
Well, I think it has to do with, okay, well, what is the situation? Are you just, walking at the mall and you see somebody with their pants sagging and you feel that it's your duty to go tap them and tell them to pull their pants up? I don't think that's appropriate. But if this is someone that you have a relationship with or have cross paths with, on a regular basis, and maybe just not have, had that conversation, then yeah, it might be okay, but not to a stranger. Not to a stranger.
Stranger danger. Don't talk to stranger.
Exactly. No, no.
Well, they won't be
Lead
a
by
stranger if you
example.
strike up a conversation.
Yeah, if you strike up a conversation not related, to try to maybe build that relationship. But I mean, I just think there's an appropriate time, an appropriate place for everything. And I don't think you should go up to a stranger and try to tell them that something that they're doing is wrong. Mind your business. Stay in your lane. Drink
Mind
your
your
water.
business. Mind your business. Just mind your business.
Just mind your
I think that's
business.
it was from the Fresh Prince.
Yes.
Yeah, come back up. All right, so I guess it's just pretty much. I heard somebody say secondhand embarrassment. We're
You have that.
we're embarrassed by what somebody else does, and I mean we should let them live their lives, and that's all cool. But I mean when we talk about our community, the representation that we see, we hear, if we're in tune to what people think and or what people think about our culture, then I think the person that's in tune to that has definitely a right, to speak to the younger generation and say, hey, I mean, we're better than this. Like, you know, if we just go back in yearbooks from back when in the 50s and 60s and in the 40s, whatever, we would see a different appearance and a different. People didn't walk out the house with bonnets on.
Yeah. I mean, I
People
agree.
didn't walk out the house with pajamas. There have been pajamas for a long time.
Yeah.
So if this is a fad that we were just trying to say, hey, this is cool, or hey, can't nobody, hey, slavery is over. We can do it. I mean, laws protect. We can do what we want, and can't nobody tell us nothing. But again, is this what we really teach our children, that this is cool to do?
Lead by example, period. That's it. I mean, her saying what she said on her own social media is fine. And again, people will either agree or disagree. People will decide whether or not they want to do it differently, and that's all you can do. But I mean, you can't make anybody do anything. So, um,
Okay, I got you.
yeah. So I did want to just briefly talk about, along the lines of um, appearance. You know, some people feel like they have to look us. All right. For our listeners, Mr. Wright is adjusting himself, fixing his tie, and all that stuff because I said something about appearance. But um, yeah, along the lines of appearance, a lot of, not, I won't say a lot. Some people feel like they have to look a certain way to be liked or accepted or taken seriously, so on and so forth. And then there's some of us who, you know, moves to the beat of our own drum, and we are what we are. We look how we look, and we don't really concern ourselves with other people's opinions. So where would you put yourself on that spectrum?
Well, I want to be taken seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to take me seriously because I don't just try to speak to just to be speaking. I don't try to move in a way just to be doing it. I'm really trying to move with a purpose. So when I speak to you, I'm looking you in your face. I'm at a tone to where you understand that I'm in the room. I want to be taken seriously, but I understand that no everybody's we can't control what other people think, and some people might not take me seriously.
Well, I'm
But
just
go,
specifically talking about your appearance, your physical appearance.
I just talked about the wrong thing.
Kind of.
Oh well, if I was in pajamas right now, would you take anything that I'm saying seriously? Uh,
Yeah, because how you look doesn't really matter. So, on one hand, we say don't judge a book by its cover. But on the other hand, within the same breath, we're saying, oh, well, you can't take him seriously because his pants sagging, or he's wearing a do rag, or he's wearing pajamas, or his hair isn't combed, or whatever. I don't think.
I think you don't in situations like that, you don't think it important enough to not have it on. See, when you're talking, when you're at the table, and you're trying to, get stuff accomplished or get business handled, there's a certain way to conduct business in a lot of cases. And I mean, I can't, if you're in pajamas and slippers and you trying to meet with me, what do I need to set up a meeting with somebody for that's in pajamas and slippers?
Okay, so speaking of that, all right, so a couple of things come to mind, but let's just
So,
talk about Leandria Johnson. That's her last name, right? Johnson. Your girl, Leandria.
okay.
Okay. So when she came on Sunday Best, and for those of you who may not be familiar, Sunday Best is a gospel singing competition, much like American Idol and The Voice, similar concept. And so they were doing auditions. Of course, they have judges. And I think this particular season it was Mary Mary, gospel singing duo, two sisters, and was it Donnie? Donnie McClurkin?
Donnie McClurkin.
Another gospel singer.
It was one of Mary and both Mary Marys.
Right. Okay.
Both,
Both sisters
yeah,
in the
both
group
sisters.
Mary Mary.
Yeah,
Okay. So a lady comes in by the name of Leandria Johnson
right,
to audition for
right.
Sunday Best. And tell the people what she was wearing, Mr. Wright.
She had on jeans,
Mm-hmm.
a a shirt, and she had on slides with socks.
Slides with socks.
Slides with
And
socks.
she she did not look the way that you would think someone auditioning for this show, Sunday Best, would look,
Right,
especially knowing that you're going to be on television, potentially,
right,
knowing who you're going to be standing in front of, award winning, gospel artists, and knowing what was at stake. Because, of course,
right,
the winner of the show would have an opportunity, I think, to win money and then to
right,
get a
right,
recording deal.
right,
Okay. So, of course, when Leandria entered the room looking the way that she did, you could visibly see the way that the judges judged her, basically like, wait a minute, who was this woman, why does she look like this? And they may have initially said, okay, well, we already know she's a no, my vote is going to be a no,
right.
until
She started singing.
she started singing. Leandria Johnson changed gospel singing. I mean that's your girl. I ain't
Yeah,
taking nothing
yeah.
from her. She a little out there now, but the story was she was affected by Hurricane Katrina
Right,
and did not have the means to buy a new dress or whatever. She came with what she had and blew the roof off the building.
right.
Because if you all have not heard Leandria Johnson sing, please look her up and listen to her.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's probably my favorite female singer.
We know
Today.
that's your
I
girl.
mean, I believe she can pretty much sing anything.
She
And
can.
we can have a conversation about that. I'm ready to go. For anybody that wants to talk about
To
that,
debate that.
debate singers and everything, like I'm always ready.
Yeah.
You know, locked and loaded.
She's in the top 5 for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah, hands down for me.
Yeah.
Always
But
be
yeah,
nominated
so
and
that
some other.
that I brought that up to just kind of prove my point
So
that
you can't judge a book by its cover. But
exactly.
when you know
So
better, you do better.
when
So kind
yeah.
of what you're saying was that people could have counted her out by how she looked without finding out what she had to offer.
Exactly.
But the thing is, once you find out what you have to offer, do you blatantly continue to wear a bonnet in Walmart and in Target and in the airport? Or do you now say, okay, I don't have to wear this bonnet in Target and Walmart and the airport. I can present myself the best because I know I am the best. I don't have to continue to wear my slides and socks. I can put on shoes, and I can even get into bigger doors by even looking the part now.
Well, and see, I mean, I'm on the fence about that too, but that's another discussion for another day. But I think that all in all, number one, we have to give people a chance.
Okay, I love that. I love that.
So,
But kid, so what is wrong with Monique saying and tapping somebody on the shoulder and say, "Hey, you know, you don't have to be out here in your bonnet.
mind your business.
Mind your business."
If someone comes to tap me to tell me that something I'm doing or wearing is not appropriate, I'm gonna give them a major side eye. I mean, I guess people can do it, but I just would not do that, and I wouldn't be a fan of it. But so I just want to give another example of giving people a chance. So I'm very much pro-black. I'm very much pro-black. And I had a patient to come into the office one day, an older white gentleman, and I called his name, called him back. And you know how when you go to the doctor, you got to get your vital signs. Of course, the first thing they want to check is your weight. So
Okay.
called him back and I'm like, hi, Mr. So-and-so. My name is Akia. I'm going to be doing your visit with you today. And I always jokingly say, I'm going to ask you to step on a scale. No response from him. He didn't crack a smile. He didn't say hello back. Nothing. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, now I got to deal with this old white man who looked racist because sometimes.
What? Wow. Okay.
You
right.
know what look I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
Play.
I know what a bonnet looks like. I don't know what it's. I know what
Really?
somebody in a bonnet looks like, but I don't
Really?
know what someone that is racist. Wow.
You don't know what somebody
Oh wow.
who looks racist looks like? Is that what you're saying?
Man. Okay.
People know what I'm talking about.
No.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
But anyway, so those are all the thoughts going through my mind. Like, okay, this is gonna be a long visit. Oh, I gotta pull stuff out of him. He don't want to talk back to me. He probably wasn't expecting me to be black. Like all of these things are going through my mind because I judged him based on how I felt he looked and based on the fact that he didn't respond to me. But what it ended up being was, number one, he's a little bit hard of hearing, so he probably didn't hear me when I said all that I said to him. And number two, he ended up being really sweet and saved. He talked to me about loving the Lord and reading his Bible and how he copes with depression and stuff like that. And I felt convicted because I judged him just based on really how he looked. Because once I saw him, I was like, and I was wrong for that. And so it's the same thing. Bonnet, no bonnet, slippers, no slippers, pajamas, no pajamas. We can't really do that. Um, because we never know what people are dealing with, what people are going through. There's always going to be some underlying issue, um, some driving force for why people do what they do, say what they say, all of that stuff. So we don't know what people's situations are or what they're dealing with. So I agree, I agree with what Monique was saying. We are Black queens. We do need to represent ourselves in a certain way. But on the other hand, we don't want to just judge somebody because of something that they're wearing or something that they aren't wearing or whatever.
Gotcha. I like that. So you brought it a holistic approach, and you brought it full circle as far as judging. I
Mm-hmm.
just want to say that I'm not judging you, but wearing a bonnet out in public is unacceptable. Bonnets are for home. So if we're going to
You're
stick with
judging.
the
You're
use of
judging.
what a bonnet is for,
You're
we
judging.
have to stick with what it was used for. So I wouldn't wear suits to sleep. So, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't sleep in suits. I would sleep in pajamas or night clothes. I wouldn't sleep in this.
Or
So,
nothing.
so just like I wouldn't sleep in this,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't wear bonnets out
Okay.
as a part of my clothing.
Yeah.
But that's unique. We only got a few more minutes, but I want to say this: in the Black culture, it's almost, and I might even get in trouble for saying this, and that's why I'm saying this at the tail end.
Oh Lord.
But you force Black men to have to accept that this is what our women do. They wear bonnets out in public. If you do this, if we don't want you to wear a bonnet out in public, do we have any say in this as well? If you are with a guy, like, and you're wearing bonnets out in public, you're wearing pajamas out in public, do we just have to accept that, accept you for who you are? Or or something's gonna have to be different, because I'm pretty sure you don't want your man out here wearing pajamas out in the airport.
Well, I think
Come on, it can't be like a double, like
I think
some things. Now if you say the do-rag is fine and the stocking cap is fine, but when we go somewhere, I want to be presentable. I want to be taken seriously. And
because you care what people think.
I think we all care what people think.
To a certain degree, and some of us care more than others. But I think, I mean, to your point, I think if a female, if a, I'm gonna stop. I guess people get offended when you say female, and I don't mean it in a disrespectful way, but when women, when Black women wear bonnets, or if Black women are wearing pajamas in public, 9 times out of 10, their significant other doesn't mind. They don't care, and they might even be wearing pajamas too.
Or 9 times out of 10, they're probably single.
Oh, shut. Oh, Arthur.
I'm just saying. I would love to see some statistics on that. Do married Black couples wear bonnets out in public? I would love to see statistics on that. Or is it more so probably single Black females? Yeah, I would love to see that. So if you have comments, you can make comments on this episode 9. We would love to hear your comments on that. I hope I didn't get myself in trouble. I'm not trying to get in something. We're just trying to have a not a debate,
Where's
but a
Shamika and
conversation.
Carlos? We need Shamika and Carlos.
We need Mr. Perspective and
Cause
Miss Unapologetic, because Miss Unapologetic is going. She's not going to apologize for what she says, and Mr. Perspective might bring in some more insight
yes.
to that, as far as the cultural epithets of.
Huh? The cultural what?
Did I say that wrong?
I just didn't hear you.
No, I'm not going to repeat it, because I might have said it. See, you hard of hearing, like the guy that was in
I
your
am. You
office.
know I am. I'm getting old. I'm hard of hearing and I'm forgetful.
Sorry,
Anyway,
you look good.
thank you.
I'm going to see the bonnet tonight.
You as soon as we get off of this podcast, absolutely, you already know it. You already know. All right, guys. Well, it's been fun. It's been real.
It's been real. While you're searching for your remedy,
Oh,
always
wait. I'm
remember.
sorry, babe. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Before you
never
do
mind.
that. No, before you do that, I just wanted to say we have one more episode left in season 1 of the Remedy Room. And then we're going to get ready for season 2. So if you all have any suggestions or ideas for topics, if you want to be a guest on our podcast, let us know. You can leave all of that as a comment on the podcast platform.
So it looks like just let y'all know.
For all of our listeners, Mr. Wright has just put a bag on his head,
Oh
I
my
guess,
goodness.
to be funny and try to say that was a bonnet. I don't know what you're doing, but that's funny. Anyway, anything that you all want to share, any feedback, you can certainly email us at the real remedy room at gmail.com. You can inbox us, DM us on social media, or leave a comment on YouTube. You know how to reach us. Share our podcast with someone,
Yes.
and come back for episode 10. Every Monday, there's a new podcast episode. All right, babe.
Hey, while you're searching for your remedy, always remember you don't always have to be right.
Put yourself first.
Be open to a new perspective.
I don't know her part.
And you know what? And live your life unapologetically.
Unapologetically.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank y'all.
y'all. Leave them bonnets at home.